Morning, everyone, and welcome to our Sunday service for December 15th. Now, I understand that we are a week ahead of time, but today we are doing the metaphysical meaning of the Christmas story. And, the Christmas story is not just the telling of the birth of Jesus, but it's also an event that has both symbolic and spiritual implications. It offers an insight into our own actual human existence, the nature of divinity, and the potential within each and every one of us to transform our lives. At its core, the Christmas story revolves around the birth of a child in a humble manger, a child proclaimed to be the Savior of the world. The event itself occurs under pretty insignificant conditions. A young woman and her husband traveled for days to reach this place. There was no room in the inn, so he was born in a stable. She wrapped him in cloths and placed him in a manger. This unassuming beginning actually has very important metaphysical symbolism. Now, Joseph, the husband, represents wisdom. Mary, the mother, represents divine love. And Jesus represents the I am identity, divine understanding and power. So wisdom brought divine love to this place, and divine love gave birth to the I am presence. The inn itself represents the potential for an expanded consciousness. And that expanded consciousness is available within us. However, at this point in time, there was no room for anything to enter there. The claws represent loving energy, and the manger represents a protected place within. So, if we want to translate this story, we could say that divine love wrapped the I am presence in loving energy and placed the I am presence into a protected place within. The birth of Jesus is often interpreted as the coming of light into the darkness of the world, and a theme that is actually found in both Christian theology and many other spiritual traditions. In many religious and spiritual philosophy, light symbolizes knowledge, enlightenment, and divine presence. Darkness, conversely, represents ignorance, suffering, and the unknown. The birth of Jesus in the manger signifies the arrival of divine wisdom and consciousness into the human physical world, which is often seen as shrouded in confusion and ignorance. The physical light of the star that guided the Magi to the birthplace of Jesus symbolizes this illumination, the light of truth and divine presence that guides humanity out of the shadows of suffering and separation from God. In a metaphysical sense, this light is not only a symbol of the divine, but it also is a representation of the potential for spiritual awakening within each individual. This Christmas story is actually inviting humanity to recognize and embody this inner light, letting us know that every person has the capacity to transcend ignorance and suffering by aligning with their own divine nature. This awakening is not merely a historical event, but also a metaphysical process that each individual is invited to participate in throughout their lives. One of the most metaphysically significant aspects of the Christmas story is the doctrine of the virgin birth. Now, this aspect has profound spiritual implications, particularly when considered through the lens of the belief that the divine is present and active within the created world, rather than being separate or distant from it. The virgin birth can be seen as a metaphor for the conception of the divine within the human soul. The Virgin Mary is often seen as representing the purity and openness of the human heart that allows the divine to take form. She's not merely a passive vessel, but an active participant in the unfolding of the divine plan, embodying the potential for human beings to bring the divine into their own lives. From a metaphysical perspective, the virgin birth symbolizes the potential within each person to give birth to a higher consciousness, to allow the divine spark to emerge within them. And this process, like the conception of Jesus and Mary, is not something that can be manufactured by human effort alone, but it's actually a gift from the divine, entering the world through a vessel that has prepared itself through openness, receptivity, and surrender. The virgin birth also suggests that the divine can enter the world in ways that transcend ordinary human understanding and experience. And this concept emphasizes the idea that the divine operates on a level beyond ordinary material existence and is not bound by the constraints of physical laws. The miracle of the virgin birth invites us to consider the nature of divine reality itself, transcendent, mysterious, and yet intimately connected to our own existence. In the Nativity story, two distinct groups of people are drawn to the newborn Jesus, the shepherds and the Magi. And these figures are not just historical characters, but are archetypes that represent different aspects of the human journey towards spiritual enlightenment. The shepherds, who are ordinary, humble people, represent the archetype of the seeker who, through simplicity and humility, find themselves in the presence of the divine. The fact that they are the first to receive the announcement of Jesus's birth suggests that the divine truth is accessible to every single person on earth, regardless of social status, intellectual achievement, or anything else in their lives. In metaphysical terms, the shepherds symbolize the potential for spiritual realization that exists in the most modest of circumstances. They also reflect the inner voice or guidance that leads the soul toward the divine. On the other hand, the Magi, the wise men from the East, represents a more intellectual or philosophical quest for understanding. These are learned individuals who seek out the truth through study and observation of the stars. Their journey to the birthplace of Jesus, guided by the star, symbolizes the search for higher knowledge and the wisdom that comes from discerning the signs of the divine in the world. In a metaphysical sense, the Magi embody the idea that spiritual wisdom and enlightenment are also available to those who earnestly seek and are open to discovering the divine truth in the world. So together, the shepherds and the Magi symbolize two contemplative paths of spiritual growth: the path of humility and the path of wisdom. Christmas story invites us to embrace both aspects of the spiritual journey: openness, humility, receptivity, as well as using our intellect, having discernment, and the pursuit of higher knowledge. In this way, the story teaches that both the heart and the mind must be aligned in the search for truth and divine presence. Another central theme in the Christmas story is the message of love, which is often understood in a metaphysical context as the force that transcends all duality and division. The birth of Jesus is a manifestation of divine love entering the world, and this love is expressed in the form of self-sacrifice, compassion, and forgiveness. Jesus's message, as depicted in the Gospels, emphasizes love as the highest spiritual principle. Love for God, love for others, and love for oneself. Metaphysically, love is seen as the binding force that unites all of creation. It is the energy that connects the divine and the human, the eternal and the earthly, and the individual and the collective. The Christmas story exemplifies this uniting love in the incarnation of Jesus, who, as both fully human and fully divine, bridges that gap between the finite and the infinite. The actual act of the divine becoming human in the form of Jesus is actually a metaphor for the reconciliation of opposites, the divine and the material, spiritual and the earthly, the eternal and the transient. This unifying love also offers a pathway to redemption. In metaphysical terms, redemption is merely the process of restoring the soul to its original state of wholeness and unity with the divine. The birth of Jesus is seen as the initiation of a journey toward this redemption, which culminates in Jesus's life, death, and resurrection. His sacrifice is understood as a cosmic act that not only redeems humanity, but also restores the divine order to the world. The Christmas story offers a model for the soul's journey toward enlightenment and unity with the divine. The Christmas story, when viewed metaphysically, actually reveals itself as an allegory for the human spiritual journey. The birth of Jesus symbolizes the coming of divine light into the world, offering the potential for enlightenment and awakening within each individual. The virgin birth represents the divine awakening within humanity, inviting people to draw the divine to be born within their own hearts. The figures of the shepherds and the magi serve as archetypes of the spiritual seeker, showing the importance of humility, wisdom, and the pursuit of truth. And finally, the overarching message of love and redemption offers a framework for understanding the transformative power of divine love to heal and unify all aspects of existence. In this way, the Christmas story serves not only as a historical or religious event, but as a timeless universal narrative that speaks to the deepest aspects of the human experience. It invites individuals to reflect on their own spiritual path and the potential for divine awakening within them. Whether through the light that shines in the darkness, the purity of the virgin birth, or the unifying force of love, the Christmas story offers a metaphysical blueprint for living a life aligned with higher truths and deeper reality. We have the fullness of wisdom and love inside of ourselves. And there has come a time when our own I am presence will be born again, wrapped in this beautiful, loving energy and placed within our own protected place within. However, now there is room available in our expansion of consciousness. We know that we have the inner voice of guidance that leads us toward the divine within, and we only have to call upon them when we need them. Our spiritual perceptive faculties always appear when we open ourselves to them, and they can take us to that state of consciousness in which the soul and the body are in harmony with divine mind, and we can find heaven on earth. We can always find divine love and wisdom with our I am presence in that protected place within our hearts. When the inner realms of consciousness that hold all wisdom come to the abiding consciousness of spiritual peace within us, and we will see the revelation of truth. It will be in us and as us from this day forward. And when our own ruling will of the physical, the ego, and the sense consciousness tries to trick us, the inner realms of consciousness that hold wisdom will come to our aid and bring us away from that energy within. That inner realm of consciousness that holds all wisdom will bring us the richness of spirit, the beauty of spirit, and the eternity of spirit. And all aspects of our being will kneel down and worship our own inner I am presence. And so it is. So I wish each and every one of you a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Much love to everyone. God bless.